My goodness, they are starting to pile up. The streams on top of streams on top of streams. I was just here like what? Wait, almost what? Wait, hours ago? I was live streaming this morning until at least 2 a.m. And now we're back again, what, some 15, 16 hours later? I don't know. I've lost count. They're starting to pile up. But what's up, people? How y'all doing? Shout out to all of you all who are hanging out in the chat tonight. Thank you guys for being here for another episode of VypDrive. Definitely appreciate you guys hanging out. We got my man, the Emperor, in the back. We about to get this party started. Also, probably before I go live here, shout out to all of you all who subscribed from Daryl Eve's YouTube channel. I appreciate all you guys coming over here. On this channel, I only do live streams. I do have another channel where I do regular video content about tech, but on this channel, it is live streams only. Usually they're my podcasts like we're doing tonight, or they're general chats about whatever, or a lot of times they're tech centered, but on this channel, it can go anywhere and everywhere. So tonight we're doing a podcast with Roberto Blake, and that is what we're going to do. So let's bring my man in and let's go to work. So this is VypDrive episode 153, and 153 brings the return of the Emperor. Yes. And he's here. He's live. He's in the back. He's on VypDrive, which starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And tonight, the creative entrepreneurial badass is back. The Emperor, YouTube educator extraordinaire, Mr. Roberto Blake is back. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Viper? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, man. Appreciate you coming on. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. You know, it's been a heck of a weekend.
Man.
We've been doing these back-to-back marathon live streams this weekend, so I'm hanging in there.
Man, for those of y'all who are not aware, me and Roberto Blake have been streaming like a lot this weekend because we've been trying to raise money for our fellow creative friend Owen Video. Unfortunately, he has come down with stage 4 cancer, which is inoperable. So me, Roberto, and a bunch of other creators, Daryl Eve, Nick Nimmin, Daniel Patal, D. Nimmin, and a few other people, we have gotten together this weekend, and we have been live streaming all weekend to raise money for Owen Video to cover his costs for his medical care and different things like that. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube tonight, the pinned comment in the chat, there is a link to Owen's GoFundMe. If you guys want to go over there and donate, whatever you can donate will be greatly appreciated. Every little cent that you guys donate to the GoFundMe will go to Owen family directly. If you super chat on here on YouTube tonight, that's going to me. So we're gonna split this up tonight. We're not mixing and matching. If you want to donate to Owen, you go to the GoFundMe. If you want to donate to Viper, you super chat on YouTube. That money goes to me tonight. So we're gonna make that easy. Appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you for hanging out. Let's go to work. So, Roberto Blake. You've been a guest on the podcast multiple times, so I don't have to ask you the usual first time question. So what I will ask you first out the gate here is, you, sir, are a Sony partner, and being such, you have access to the newest Sony cameras. And recently, Sony just released the Sony ZV-E10. So
yes,
given the fact that you've had your hands on that camera for a little time now, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it.
I've sent it back to them since. Yes.
Okay, but you had time with it. So
yes,
let's talk about that camera compared to the ZV-1 that they released last year.
So the Sony ZV-1 is a tremendous vlogging camera, and it's still the best compact camera on the market overall. I actually own it personally. And so it's a great camera for new content creators, or for not even just new content creators. It's a great overall camera because of the value to price and what it gets you and the features that it has, the new technology. It's also a great live streaming camera. So it does everything that you could need as a YouTube content creator, and it comes with a 24 to 70 millimeter lens that goes from f1.8 to f2.8. So you have that blurry background that you see that I constantly enjoy, right? Now, that being said, it's a camera that you get for around $700, and you don't need a lens. You don't need anything. The in-camera audio is good, but it also works with microphone jack, so on and so forth. Now let's take the ZV-E10. ZV-E10 has a microphone jack and a headphone jack, Viper. and it has an interchangeable lens system. Now, when you buy that, you get to use it with all the different Sony lenses, and they've got a huge lineup. Sony used to get clowned by big photographers like Jared Polin, Frono's Photo, and so on and so forth. But, you know, it's just today, he released a Dear John letter to Nikon telling them that he's sad that they've made him have to become a Sony shooter, and that it's that he used to joke, but now he's on board. The autofocus is perfect. So where does that leave the ZV-E10? The ZV-E10 is actually a really exciting camera to me because I can't justify anybody saving $100 to $200 unless they really, really have to by buying a competing camera, because you just will not get the same features. You will get half the features just to save $100 or $200. And I know that that's meaningful money to people, but Viper, if you're a content creator, you're going to be using this thing ideally for a long time. It is cheaper to buy one time and use something and get 2 or 3 really good years out of it than to buy something and settle, then have to sell it for less than half of what you bought it for to upgrade to the next thing. Whereas if you buy the Sony ZV-10, it's a really good camera. It's going to last you a while, and you're going to be able to sell it for like 70 or 80% of the value when you decide to move up to something else. It's kind of like buying into Apple. When you buy an Apple product, you can sell that Apple product for 70 or 80% of the value if you buy the new Apple product, and then you're going into your upgrade. And since you got your use out of it, it's practically free.
Wow. So, as you just alluded to, one of the big differences between the ZV-1 and the ZV-E10 is that interchangeable lens system. On the ZV-1, you cannot change the lens, but on the ZV-E10, I think it's what APS-C system. So
yes, it's an APS-C sensor, which is fine for most content creators. That's going to be fine. Most content creators do not need to go into full frame cameras like I do with like big hulking professional glass Viper. This is the Sony A7. This is the A9 II. This is the A9 II. This is a pro photography camera. This is my wildlife photography camera. This is a $4,500 camera, Viper. This is the 50 millimeter G Master. This is a $2,000 lens. This is like $6,400. This is somebody's entire YouTube studio, and it's just a camera and a lens. This is the A7R4. This is a $3,500 body. This is a $500 lens on it. It's a f2.5 50 millimeter, and so it's a great. These are both great cameras, but again, the glass and the stuff is expensive. Now, if you go with something like the ZV-E10, you get that, and it's what $699
body only.
like body only, right? Yep. So okay, $700, sub $1,000 camera, 4K video, flip out screen, does 24 megapixel photography serviceably, and it works great. It's got Sony's perfect autofocus system. It's got the product showcase mode, so you don't even have to know how to do like close-up macro product video or photography. You can do that stuff that you need to. Works really great when you want to do top-down videos. It's a light camera. If you don't have a lens on it, or if you put the pancake lens on it, the 16 to 50 millimeter pan or zoom, it's a pancake lens. It kind of can fit in your pocket, to be honest. If you have like, cargo pants, it can fit in your pocket. So it's a good investment. It can fit in a fanny pack. It's inconspicuous. There are places where I'm not allowed to take this camera, but they wouldn't bother me if I had the Sony ZV-E10. So I feel like it's a great camera for a content creator. It's a good investment, and that it'll work for you long term. There are people nitpicking about things like the stabilization and stuff like that, but it's a less than $1,000 camera. And that's more of an issue if you do decide to shoot 4K. Most YouTubers don't need to bother to shoot 4K. It immediately can plug in with no need for a cam link and be a webcam for you. It's I think it's basically the perfect content creator camera for somebody who doesn't have, like over $1,000 to spend.
Yeah, if you're first starting out as a content creator, the ZV-E10 is perfect. Again, it's less than $1,000. You have an interchangeable lens system. You got the flip out screen. You got no limit recording. You got 4K 30, I believe it goes up to. That camera is legit, and we all know that Sony has one of the best camera systems out there. Here's the funny thing. I met Roberto in person 3 years ago at Vid Summit, and I saw his camera bag. His camera bag is almost as big as he is, y'all. It's huge. It's huge.
Gotten worse.
Gotten worse. I bet. So Roberto does not mess around when it comes to his photography. Like, he is on it. So if he says that the DVE10 is legit, it is definitely legit. Yo, shout out to
Well, I mean,
man.
speaking of not messing around with my photography, I mean, I can show you some of that real quick for the live audience, Viper, if you want.
Right. Yep, absolutely. Shout out to my man Big Cloud Gaming for the super chat. Thank you, sir. You got that at 850-100. Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right, so we're going to show the live audience here some of Roberto photography. Oh, yeah, Roberto been doing that zoo photography for those of y'all who are
Wildlife, yeah.
And he's been doing some excellent photography for sure. Look at that tiger. Wow. Woo. Here.
Yeah, so that's from Zoo Atlanta here in Georgia. And that was shot, I believe, on the Sony Alpha 1, which I borrowed from Sony. The autofocus on that's amazing, by the way. The A9 II is pretty close. And 51 megapixels on the Alpha 1. The A9 II is only 24 megapixels. This is Flamenco, also from Zoo Atlanta. Here are more flamingos.
Wow.
Yeah. We got some of the birds in the bird sanctuary. Look at that. Tack sharp, got the eye there. Yeah.
The zooming on these lenses they're using, my God. Whew.
I'm using, I think with this, I was using the 100 to 400 millimeter with a 2x teleconverter. I have a 200 to 600 now. These are expensive lenses. Now I own this is the Lions here. I own the 100 to 400. That's a $2,500 lens. And I own the 200 to 600. That's a $2,000 lens. These things, I mean, doing these things and doing this at this level, this is a level where you have to have these cameras to be able to do this, and you have to have these lenses to do this. It's like, I know people like to say gear doesn't matter, and it might matter less if you're doing talking head videos, but with photography, gear really does matter. You can't miss with the autofocus in wildlife photography. You can't not have tack sharpness. You need the reach of these telephoto lenses when you're trying to shoot wildlife safely and respect the wildlife. So we have some shots here. There's some more wild birds. Here's one of the giraffes.
Wow.
Here, so
sharpness and clarity. Wow, dude. Wow.
Yeah, you can't really beat it. Here's one of the rhinos there. Yeah, you can't. It is literally impossible to shoot some of these things without having very specific equipment that allows for it. It's it'd be almost I just have to say it's pretty much impossible to do if you don't have what you need. So I'm really glad that I've been able to work to be in a position to afford this camera gear. It's not something that everybody needs, but this is definitely a passion, that I have, and it's something that I'm really invested in. I've been wanting to shoot things like this my entire life.
Yeah, your passion for photography definitely shines through your photos. You are so detailed about it. And it's interesting that you talk about how you have to have the right equipment to capture those special moments, because I know one of the complaints that we as techies have had about Samsung phones over the recent years is that when you're trying to capture moving objects and things like that, the shutter speed has a little lag in it, especially with the S21 and things like that. So if you have like kids and you're trying to catch them moving around with a Samsung device, doesn't always come out with the best picture. Whereas if you use an iPhone or a Pixel, those shutter speeds are instant, so you don't miss those moments. But having that,
and I think it's also their computational photography and the AI side too.
Yeah, you gotta have that instant shutter speed if you want to capture those special moments with moving objects like a kid or a car or something like that, or animals. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So
yeah, there's just no getting around it. Like at the end of the day,
no getting around it at all. Shout out to those of y'all who are watching the podcast live tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of VypDrive with me and my man, the Emperor Roberto Blake. If you have not checked out his content, I'm pretty sure most of you all have, but for those of y'all who have not, his YouTube channel is actually hot linked in the title of the live stream. So if you go to the title of the live stream and click on his name, it will take you directly to his YouTube channel. Check him out and find out all the tricks and tips of the trade, all the tips and tricks of the trade of growing on YouTube and growing your business online with this man, Roberto Blake. Also, like I said earlier, if you want to support the podcast, you do have the option to super chat. Super chats are open. They're not required, but anything that you are willing to contribute is greatly, greatly appreciated. For those of y'all watching on YouTube, I also pinned a link in the chat, and there's a link in the live description. If you want to donate to our good friend Owen, who is battling stage 4 cancer, the link to that GoFundMe is in the live description of this live stream, and it's also the pinned comment at the top of the live chat. So again, if you want to donate to Owen, go out to the GoFundMe directly and donate to him. If you want to donate to me in the podcast, you can super chat on YouTube, and that is how we're going to do that. Appreciate you guys being here tonight, so thank you. Shout out to those of y'all who are listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and Roberto Blake. If you're not familiar with his content, definitely go check him out. His info will be in the show notes. He is legit creative entrepreneur. He will show you how to grow on YouTube and grow your online business. Definitely check that man out. The proprietor of the Awesome Creator Academy. Give him a look. If you want to support the podcast monetarily, there should be a Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes as well. Nothing is required, but anything that you're willing to contribute, greatly appreciate it. Also, if you are interested in donating to our good friend Owen Video, who is battling cancer, that link to GoFundMe will also be in the show notes. Definitely go out there and donate whatever you can. The dollar amount does not matter. We're trying to raise $150,000, and we are over halfway there. So definitely go down there and do that if you can. Thank you for that. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review and help more people discover the podcast, help Apple Podcasts put it out in front of more eyes and things like that. So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review. And thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive. So I gotta get you, Roberto, because I know you are not an annual iPhone upgrader. You are an every other year iPhone upgrader. So is this the year that you get a new iPhone, or is it next year?
I mean, I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I have the iPhone 12 as a backup. I actually gave my Samsung 10 to my mom, and so I still have my Google Pixel 3 or something like that as my what's I forget which one it was when we were all doing the whole like kind of Team Pixel thing. Maybe it was the 3, something like that. So I have that as my Android still, and I believe I have like a OnePlus 5T kicking around somewhere. Like
it's around somewhere. You don't know where it is, but it's around somewhere.
Yeah. So like but I don't really like use it for much of any. I think I use it for like my Google Voice number or something. So there's room for, and I'm talking like Google might send me the Pixel 6. It's possible.
Okay.
So we might work that out. But I don't know. Like what's so special about the iPhone 13 that I would need to upgrade? I mean, because I have, and there's nothing wrong with my iPhone 12 or my 12 Pro Max. They're both great. Like, you know, I've got the MKBHD case on the
icon
the white 12
nice.
And everything. This is clean. I actually regret this not being the daily driver because this is so damn heavy. So I don't know, like, because there's a part of me that also genuinely likes what I'm like. Apple is a story brand in the sense that there's something meaningful about having the legacy of the iPhone collection. And I do have like a bunch of old iPhones, and I hold on to them, but it's starting to feel like, from a financial standpoint, it's starting to feel almost frivolous to do something like that, because if I buy a new iPhone, I'm not buying $1,000 more of Apple stock.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so to answer your question about what could be different with the iPhone 13, well, we don't really know what's coming because we have to wait until Apple has their event next month. But from everything I've heard, it's not going to be much new. It might have a 120 hertz refresh rate on board for the Pro model, but other than that, exactly. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be too much new with the phone this year. It's going to be more of an incremental upgrade. It's definitely going to be an S year, as we call it in iPhone land. So if you hold on, they basically
have discontinued the S line in favor of just doing incremental updates.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an incremental update year. So if you choose to hang on to your 12 for another year, I don't think you're going to be missing out on too much. But again, this is just me speculating. I won't know more until we see the actual phones.
And I bought mine outright. You know, if you're going to sell your current model iPhone, get 70 or 80% of the value and upgrade, it makes sense.
Right.
If you trade in your iPhone and they give you $600 or $700 and you spend $1,000, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I own my iPhones outright. They work fine and functionally. They will still retain value next year because I keep them in great condition if I wanted to sell. But if not, then they might slow down enough to make sense. I'm more interested in the iOS updates that they're going to do, which my phones will be obviously allowed to have. So in fact, actually, I still have my iPhone 8. I gave my iPhone 8 to my sister. She works for the company. She works as my personal assistant and head of my customer service. And I was able to give her my iPad Air 2 Viper. That's how old it still works. Still works great. I have the iPad Pro from I think last year or the year before or something, which I don't use nearly enough. I use it. I don't use it nearly enough. I just haven't needed as much use case for it because we're not traveling. I had bought it right before the event and I thought that we were going to be traveling and I bought it with that in mind. So I have spent the last 18 months regretting my purchase ever since. So waste of money essentially because I couldn't anticipate not traveling. So feels like a waste of money.
Well, we're about to start traveling again, so I think you'll be all right there.
We say we're about to start traveling again.
I know for a fact me and you were traveling next month. So.
Well, yes, but after that, who knows now? Right. The way the government's going, who knows?
Yeah, true. So since we're talking about Apple, we got to talk about a recent controversy that come up in Apple land, and I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this. So
yes,
a few days ago, Apple announced some children protection that they have in place. There are 3 phases to it, but we're going to talk about the phase that has everybody up in arms. So apparently, Apple is now going to, and this goes into effect when iOS 15 and iPadOS 15 publicly releases next month. So this is not in effect yet, but next month when the new iOS and new iPadOS go live for the public, Apple's going to be implementing scanning of your iCloud photos against the CSAM database. Now, I can't say what CSAM stands for on YouTube, but just know it's about protecting children. So
child protection, yeah.
Yes. So people are up in arms because they feel like this thing kind of puts a chink in the Apple privacy armor because they feel like their information on their phone is going to be left private now because Apple will be constantly scanning it for CSAM material on their phone. Now, just to be clear, Apple isn't scanning your phone for explicit images of CSAM. Basically, what they're looking for, or what the algorithm will be looking for, are what they call hashes. They'll be looking for markers or certain data points that match images in the CSAM database or match data points in the CSAM database. So, if
they say that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's what we can only go by what they say. But yeah. So,
but the thing is, that's what they're saying now.
Okay, right.
I'll let you finish though.
Right. Can I finish? Right. Right. That's
I'm gonna let you finish.
Right.
So Beyonce had the best record.
You did not go there. You did not just Kanye me, man. Oh my goodness. But so basically, according to Apple, when they're scanning your iCloud photos, they are scanning for certain markers that match up with certain markers in the CSAM database. If they find photos in your iPhone or iCloud photos that match those markers, they will then be passed on to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. Actually, no, not take that back. If they find markers that match the CSAM database, then they will go to manual review. Somebody from Apple, I guess, or third party will review the photo to make sure that it is something that should be flagged. And if it is flagged, then that's when it gets passed to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And then obviously it can go on to law enforcement if that needs to happen. Roberto Blake, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I don't like the phrase slippery slope, and there is a such thing as a slippery slope fallacy, but this is the thing that's closest to qualifying as a true slippery slope. Mm-hmm. This is dangerous, Viper, and I know that the first defense of very angry people will be, well, if you have nothing to worry about, then why are you worried about it? But that's because I understand that algorithms are imperfect. You yourself have experienced algorithms being imperfect very many times.
Yeah.
I do not, as much as I like and I trust machines, and I think there's a better chance of them getting things right than human beings who have biases and prejudices, I still think that since human beings made it, it's going to be imperfect at scale, and it's too dangerous, in my opinion, to implement. I also think it gives Apple too much power. They're already almost a $2 trillion company with no real accountability beyond being beholden to the consumer. And the thing is, they're not that beholden to the consumer, considering there's more Apple devices than humans at this point, and they've made their ecosystem too inconvenient to leave, and too many people rely on it for their workflows. Too many people are too far gone to learn anything else. It's just very unlikely for someone to stop using their Apple device even over this. And that's unreasonable and it's unfair. It's giving a private corporation, which I usually defend, by the way, entirely too much power to be able to have this capability, because they could say that it's for the children today, but there's no telling who will be in charge of Apple in the future. Giving them that power now, even if we trust Tim Cook, even if we trust them today, there's no reason for us to give power to them knowing that it'll be in the hands of someone we might disagree with or distrust in the future, and we won't be able to put the genie back in the bottle. It's too big, it's too powerful, and we kind of need to slow down a little bit with what we're doing with AI, and we can't keep using justifications like this and protecting the few to potentially compromise the freedoms of the many. It's too much to, when you sacrifice too much of your freedom for security, you'll very quickly find yourself with neither. And that's a real issue that we're seeing in our current times. We're already seeing it with other things happen in the wake of the virus. And so it's something that people are not wrong to question this, Viper. People are not wrong to question it. They're not wrong to be concerned. There are things that have been done in the past that were done under the pretext of security and safety and were thought to be noble. The Patriot Act was one of them. That didn't really go so well for us, losing some of our freedoms as U.S. citizens, and Edward Snowden had to give up his freedom in order to expose that, or we'd still be in the dark about just how far that went. So when you have that, and we have the ability to vote for our representatives in our government, and there's theoretically a mechanism for holding them accountable, where do you leave our recourse? Where do you leave our ability to fight back against a multi-trillion-dollar corporation with unprecedented godlike power in technology? Like, I'm not really that much in favor. People should be allowed to opt out of this, and they should still be allowed to have iOS 15. The biggest issue is taking away people's choices. Okay. And yes, I understand that there's almost no point in putting people on the honor system with this when what you're trying to do is protect children from being in danger or exploited in some way. I understand, but I still feel that this is there's a step too far when it comes to our freedoms. And part of the reason that we entrust the government with power is to step in and offer consumer protections. I'm not usually for government regulations, but if the government was going to intervene, in theory, it should be in a situation like this. Instead, they're a collaborator, which means that we as people have no recourse in protecting our freedoms except to say, well, we're going to now inconvenience ourselves by not using all the wonderful things that Apple provides. Right. That's not exactly a reasonable negotiation. That's my feeling on it, is that people are being robbed of their choices, and their freedom truly, in my opinion, is being put on the line because they're saying that they'll use it for this purposes today. All you have to do is change a few lines of code and you can scan for anything you want.
Yep. So just a couple of points. You can easily opt out of it per se if you turn iCloud photos off. So if your iCloud photos are turned off, then your photos will not be scanned. So I guess that's the opt out.
In theory, if we trust them. But here's the other thing. iCloud is used to back up your services. It's used to back up your purchases in terms of your software and your app purchases and some of your things there. It's used to easily sync and transfer one iPhone update to another. So saying we can opt out of iCloud is all well and good. But the thing is, again, you're making it untenable for people to do very simple things like move from one iPhone to another or back up their memories, especially older folks and everything like that. So yes, in theory, you can opt out of this by saying, okay, don't use the service. But they've tied the service inextricably to a lot of things that just make sense from a workflow convenience, or just a, hey, you risk losing all of your precious memories or all of your data if you don't have this. So they've really put their users in an unfair pitch situation, as far as I'm concerned. They put them in an untenable position.
I should say, what do you say to the people that say that Apple is not the first company that has implemented these measures? Apparently, Google and Facebook have both been doing it for years already, scanning for these types of
people were complaining about that too. People have been complaining about Facebook when it comes to privacy. People have been calling Google Big Brother. So I know people who've switched from Android to iPhone specifically over that issue. And now they're not left with an option.
Right.
So that's not, this is, again, it's one more step in the fact that you now have 3 different ecosystems that have had said no to you having true privacy and true freedom.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I will say the same thing that I said on a live stream Friday night. Anybody who uses an internet connected device in today's age, you automatically surrender your right to privacy. You never had privacy. We know that Apple has built their whole empire off the back of privacy for years. But in my opinion, and I'm the captain of Team Apple, and I'm saying this, in my opinion, it's been nothing more than marketing. Apple's whole privacy thing has been marketing mostly.
Sure. I don't disagree with you that using the internet, you've forfeited a lot of your privacy, but it shouldn't really be all up for grabs. And if they're going to do that, and if they're going to profit so much for it, then you know what? We deserve to get more back than just what we're getting from a consumption standpoint. We decide we should benefit more from all of this. And that's why I believe in the data dividend project. That's why I also believe in, which basically stipulates that you put a tax on the companies that have leveraged our privacy, and they basically end up funding some form of a universal basic income for everybody in America, because of the fact that they are benefiting from our existence via basically selling our information and exploiting our data. So pay us out on the innovation and off the back of you're making so much money off of it. Cut us a small sliver of a check then, man. Come on.
It's interesting because you say that, but when Apple implemented their app tracking transparency thing in Facebook, some people came up with the thought that if this really does affect Facebook revenue so much that Facebook could potentially charge people to use the platform if it didn't cut into the revenue too much. I see the look on your face. The look on your face, like, what are you talking about, Viper?
Facebook is too profitable for that to be an issue. Number one, they are the second largest ad marketplace in the world versus Google. They're the largest social media platform with the largest user base. We're talking about user bases that are as large as the 3 major religions of the world. It's ridiculous to think that this and the number of people that'll actually bother to read the thing and opt out will cut so much into their revenue that they would then have to charge us. It sounds to me like they're looking for an excuse to paywall, and then let's see what happens to their user base and revenue stream there, because people are already deleting Facebook. Not enough to matter, mind you. I think deleting Facebook's kind of dumb personally, but the because you guys still use Instagram. But the
yeah.
But my point is, then think about also all the revenues that they're getting off of Instagram. They're getting enough revenues to where they're starting to pay creators for Instagram content, for Instagram Reels, and for IGTV, and so on. If they're starting to make that kind of revenue, then the threat of this is just that. It's just a leveraged threat that really doesn't have any real significance. So I did them saying, "Oh, we're not going to make enough money." You're Facebook. You're going to make enough money.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
So you were talking about earlier about how you feel like we should get a cut of the revenue that they make from using our data and things like that. I mean, that would be nice, and they definitely make more than enough money to make that happen. I don't know how. I don't know if that will ever happen. The thing is, like, even if
there's a push for it, there's a push for it.
We shall see. The thing is, even if we did like have more control, or we thought we had more control, how much control will we really have though when everything is happening on the back end, on servers and things like that? we don't know. We don't have the access to their.
If we're not going to have control, then we should have transparency. That's why blockchain is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. All right.
If I had my way and everything like that, if I had my way tomorrow, the entire government would be on blockchain and everything like that. We'd have people's accountability. We'd be dragging some people to indictments. Emily D. Baker would have a bunch of court cases to be able to entertain us with it, everything like that. It'd be amazing. It's like, when we get a real audit, and everything like that. It's like, let me come in with freaking clipboard. Let's go. Let's get an audit going. Let's find every dollar and every dime. Let's find every dollar and every dime and everything. Get on the blockchain. I want to know how much y'all spent. How do you know, like, did you know that Congress sitting people in the House of Representatives, they get a $30,000 budget to decorate their office?
What?
Yeah.
No, I did not know that. I was not.
Yeah,
aware.
You go up there to Congress, they give you a $30,000 budget to decorate your office.
Wow. Holy Lord.
Yeah, it must be nice. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, they find money for all kinds of things and everything like that. But it's like, and then you have all this nonsense where everyone keeps telling us that, like, the billionaires don't pay their fair share of taxes, the tech companies don't pay their fair share of taxes. First of all, that's a lie, because the top 20% of earners in America pay 83% of the taxes. I went to the IRS website and I'm like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me the top 20% of people? So what are they talking about with fair share? They constantly gaslight us into all kinds of nonsense. And then they tell us, oh, well, if we raise your taxes, we'll be able to do all these things and help all these people. It's like, why is it then less than 20% of our taxes actually pay for any programs that help people or deal with deep poverty? It's all mostly military spending. I checked the budget. I'm like, you get us a blockchain ledger, you make it make sense for ordinary people, and you'll see some real changes. That's the great thing about technology, Viper. Technology is getting to the place to where it's getting a lot harder to hide and bury anything. And it's great. In a way, it's great. It's great when we can hold people in power accountable. The problem is, as individuals, we're losing our privacy, but they're not being more transparent. So when's that scale balance?
True story. Yo, shout out to my man, My Tech Review, for the $5 super chat. That's not a question. Would you like a stranger to be looking at your private photo because you were attacked by a system and maybe even been a mistake? I don't think anybody would like that. Again, that's where Roberto's been talking about the invasion of privacy. So,
and the AI cannot get it perfect.
Exactly.
So raising the stakes, the AI is fantastic, by the way. The technology is great. It's a tremendous undertaking. But it's so imperfect. Why do you want to tie it to such high stakes?
I said this Friday, the AI will always have flaws because the AI is made by humans, and humans are inherently flawed. Because humans are inherently flawed, there will always be a flaw in whatever we make, because we, by nature, are flawed. So, like Roberto said, there are always to be imperfections in whatever AI we build, because it's built by us. So, trust me when I tell you, and he'll tell you too, if we build an AI to detect and scan stuff, chances are it could be misused, it could be hacked, it could have vulnerabilities, all the stuff. So that's just the reality of the world that we live in. It is what it is.
Yeah. You know, it's people will say things like, and I know the example is, oh, some of them pay, and some of these tech billionaires and tech companies pay $0 in taxes. You know, we research these tech companies, Viper. We talk a lot about this in Coffee Talk. It's actually not true. And I know this because it only looks that way to people who are only employees. When you're a business owner, you there's not really you pay zero taxes. You pay taxes one way or another. First of all, if you have employees, you pay payroll taxes. And again, like I told you, 20%, the top 20% of earners pay 83% of the taxes in America. Most people who pay zero taxes actually are people who are earning under about $65,000 a year, because you get deductions the more things you do. People don't realize that when you become a first-time homeowner, I'm learning this, Viper, because of friends like our friend Christina Smallhorn, who's a real estate agent, is teaching me about the things you get to deduct as a homeowner, because I'm in my process of trying to buy a home. And I learned when I became a small business owner, I got an LLC. If you have an LLC or an S Corp, your tax situation is different than in employees. Everybody can pay very little in taxes in proportion to their income. Most people are just taking the standard deduction. That's why they think it's different or it's rigged for people at the top. It's not that it's rigged for people at the top. It's you kind of crap at cheating if you still end up paying 80% of the bill. Like, so how much cheating can you do? It's the fact that people do not actually understand the tax code and they can't afford accountants and bookkeepers and people to help them. And then what happens is you get the media and they can write a story that's kind of true and make it seem a certain way. How many times have we seen the media create a narrative that then turns out to be true? These are the same. I mean, didn't the media create the narrative that social media was a fad and it was for losers in their mom's basement and it was meaningless? And then all of a sudden they decided it's so powerful. Think about it. In one breath, they told us that you could not use it to sell a tomato on the internet. And in the next breath, they're telling us it's so powerful that it's destroying our democracy.
Yeah, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but we know.
Hey, don't let people gaslight you. Do your research. Check the IRS website.
Definitely. Haley, to answer your question, D Niman, I think, is picking up the charity stream at some point tonight. I think he's going to wait till we're done here. So I think after we're done here, I think D is going to pick it up. Also, shout out to Enrod Ranger fan for the super chat. He said, "This is amazing. You are two amazing people. You both deserve all the success that comes your way. Keep it up." Appreciate you, Jonathan, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for supporting me and Roberto, and thank you for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. So, Roberto, you said on Twitter tonight that you were going to come on here and talk about your new YouTube strategy. Yes. So, what are we talking about? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, it's a couple of things, Viper. My new YouTube strategy is somewhat my old YouTube strategy.
What's new? What's old is new again, right? What's new is
old is new again. I found that. So I found that there's a lot of interesting things I could talk about when it comes to YouTube. I mean, I could even answer a few questions, but with me, I found that the bare minimum is that you have to, at least unless you're like James Johnny or Patty Galloway and you're making this really great long narrative viral type content that can really just keep churning in new views and subs. I mean, James Johnny's amazing. I think it's less than 20 videos and he's about to hit 1 million subscribers, but he does these big like mini documentary Netflix type videos. So it's like on very interesting subjects. So he did one about the crazy world of Bitcoin scams. He did like, it was really good stuff. It's fantastic. So what ends up happening is with YouTube, I've noticed an interesting pattern in my videos, and I'm basically going to try to get to a place of 2 to 3 uploads a week, if I possibly can. And then when we don't have things that we don't want to suck energy from, like right now we have our friends doing the live stream to help Owen. You're always welcome back on the stream, and then we can do more streams and channel reviews on Sundays and so on and so forth. So it's going to be trying to do 2 videos a week or 3 and a live stream every week or every other week. And so that's the plan. Oh, excuse me. Because I figured out that the long breaks really do hurt my YouTube channel. No matter what anybody tells you, they might be gaslighting you and say, "Oh, taking a break doesn't hurt your YouTube channel." Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. If it's longer than a week to 2 weeks, it hurts your YouTube channel in the same way as taking a vacation from your job or your business.
Yep.
So, like, that's
a thing.
That's a real issue.
That's real.
And part of it is, it's not that YouTube is purposely doing it with the algorithm. It's that in trying to serve users what they're the most interested in and when they care about it and reward consistency, it ends up kind of penalizing you. But in real life, there's almost no way in real life to take a break for more than a week to 2 weeks and not have consequences.
Absolutely.
So it's not unreasonable that that's the situation with YouTube, right? So part of my new strategy is just to not miss a week of uploads anymore. Now, part of how I'm going to accomplish that is I'm continuing to batch record and front load some videos and do some things. There's some new formats that I'm playing with. You've noticed I've started doing a 15 tips format. And I think that's really strong for evergreen content. It's working out really well right now. So I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing that. And the other thing is I'm going to try to do 2 videos a week that are very evergreen videos. But if I can get a third video in that's something current or relevant to what's happening in social media or the world or with another YouTuber or something of that nature, something either reaction or commentary style, that's going to also help with bringing in new audiences and boosting relevance and awareness and help my back catalog. So that's the direction that I'm going in. It's not that I'm really changing as much of the content as much as my approach to some of it. I've written out another 200 video ideas as far as titles, believe it or not.
Ooh.
Yeah, I worked on that this week. The Endless Idea Bank.
There
And
you
so
go. Yep.
it's really that I'm really focusing, and people are like, oh, quality versus quantity. My videos are value driven. I'm not an entertainer. So since I'm not an entertainer, the quality versus quantity argument doesn't apply to me, because my quality comes down to production, performance, and personality. My personality is what it is. You like me or you don't. I've mastered my performance on camera in the same way that I did my stage presence as a public speaker. And my production values, as you can see, are pretty good.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir. I like it.
So
let's blow him up real quick, y'all. Y'all can see these production values there. Look at this. Look at that. Y'all see the purple. You see the
and
camera.
this isn't even my best.
You see the bokeh. Y'all see the bokeh over there. That man, he's flexing over there. That's a flex, y'all. That's a flex.
This isn't even the A7S3. So
what is it? What are you shooting on then? What is this?
This is the A6600.
Oh,
but I'm using one of the new Sony compact lenses. Have you seen the new compact lenses?
I have not. No, but
they're the 500. Oh, this is a 24 millimeter f2.8, and so there you go.
That looks
and
good,
you can see that it's an improvement over my 16 to 35 millimeter f4. You can already tell.
It looked good, bro. It looked good.
Yeah.
So the other thing that you were going to address tonight is the YouTube community. Whew, I'm pretty sure we both got a lot of thoughts on that tonight, so I'll let you go ahead.
I think that the YouTube community is getting to an interesting place. For one thing, I'm starting to see 2 things. I'm starting to see who has staying power. So that's interesting. YouTube Shorts has been interesting, but it's the thing is, it's great that there are new creators that are blowing up and getting their due because of YouTube Shorts, and they're growing faster than ever. I'm not sure that they will ever translate into regular YouTube content, though. And the thing is, I think if you sit in your bubble of only making YouTube Shorts in the way that you would make TikToks, and that's your way of breaking into YouTube, that's fine. You're going to get a silver play button, and you're going to get views and subs, and you're going to have an audience. But there is just something to making longer form videos that has staying power with an audience, because short form content audiences have proven to be fickle.
Yeah,
it's proven to be fickle.
Yeah, we've always talked about how the audience for a longer video is definitely different from the audience for a shorter video. They want 2 different things, so it's going to be completely different audiences. So I get you on that one, definitely.
Yeah.
So from my
Jeff wanted me to tilt the camera down a little bit, so I did.
I thought it nice. So I guess I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I'm looking at what's everything that's happened this weekend. What's happened this weekend has been nothing short of incredible and amazing. And it shows me that humanity still exists out there. Let me go over here to the page now to see how much we raised this weekend for Owen. Like I told you guys earlier, me and Roberto both have been live streaming all weekend to raise money for Owen Video, who unfortunately is battling stage 4 cancer right now, but he's fighting it. So if he's fighting, we're fighting. We have raised $82,576. $82,576 over the course of the weekend to support this man. Now the goal is $150,000, so we're a little over halfway there. But just the fact that we raised $82,000 in like a 2 or 3 day period is nothing short of incredible. So we're going to hit the goal. But just to see the way that the community has come together with their generosity, their donation, the way that we have kind of transferred the stream from one channel to the next channel, like. The community is so strong and it's united in this cause to support Owen. It's incredible, man. It just makes me smile.
Yeah, people have dug deep. You know, it's been a hard year for everybody, hard like last 18 months for everybody. And to see though the outpouring of love and support for Owen, his wonderful wife Teresa, and their 4 kids is just tremendous. And Owen, as you know, is one of my best friends. You know, and we've been good friends for a number of years through this community. And you know, he's always been like such a support and encouragement to everything I'm doing. He's always pushed and challenged me to do more with my business. And he's one of the people who really helped me with my public speaking, Viper. He actually really did. In the beginning of my public speaking career, I wasn't a good public speaker. And I was also very shy at these events. Owen was one of the first people to help break me out of my shell at these events and introduce me to people and bring me lovingly into the social media marketing world community, talked me up to Mike Stelzner, told Mike Stelzner he had to put me on stage. And I don't know if it would have happened nearly as quickly without him. And social media marketing world made and minted me as a keynote speaker. And so I don't know that that would have happened as easily or as quickly without Owen.
Yeah, I first met Owen at VidSummit 2018. He came up to me when I was 9 months into my YouTube career. This man came up to me and talking about, he was like, "Yo, Viper, I know you. I've seen your stuff." I'm like, "Wait, what? How have you seen my stuff?" I'm like, 9 months and I'm brand new, but somehow he knew who I was. He knew of my content, and we were cool. We met, and here's the crazy thing: he's battling stage 4 cancer, and he's still coming to VidSummit to MC this year. Like,
yeah,
if that doesn't show you how much of a fighter he is, I don't know what will. So
indeed.
Owen's going to be an MC at VidSummit. I'm going to be an MC at VidSummit this year. It's going to be wild. So I'm looking forward to that. Roberto's going to be there speaking. What is your talk going to be on this year?
Mine is going to be on the creator economy and the 6 business models creators are using to make millions.
Beautiful. So Haley was in my live stream last night when I was raising money for Owen, and I actually, she actually ended up winning a consultation with you. She says she hasn't started her channel yet, so she wants to know, can she gift it to a bigger channel or a friend with a bigger channel?
She absolutely can.
Yep.
Absolutely. And if she still later, when she starts her channel, wants one, I'll just go ahead and still gift it to her.
Oh my! Oh my! It continues, and I love it. We're still being generous AF. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, Zane. We didn't give away. I didn't give away $20,000 worth of stuff. I gave away about maybe $12,000 or $15,000 worth of stuff. So we gave away $10,000 worth of YouTube starter kits. Well, we're still giving them away. I made coupons for 100 of those. I usually sell it for $99. So we gave away about roughly 10,000 of those. I gave away some channel review consults. Those go for hundreds of dollars. And we also did a 90-minute one-on-one with me. That goes for about $700. So we gave away around, out of my stuff, we gave away maybe $12,000 of stuff from my business. So.
And VidIQ allowed me to give away, I think.
Plus I donated.
Yeah, VidIQ allowed me to give away 2 1-year booth packages of VidIQ, which are like $50.
Tremendous.
So yeah, that's not cheap stuff. So shout out to VidIQ for letting me give away some stuff too last night. That is awesome. But we have reached the Q&A portion of the live stream. I don't know how long we're gonna do this because I want to.
We got some time. I've got some time.
Oh no, we got time. But if D Niman is waiting for us to finish, so we can go start. I don't want to do this too long. But if you guys got questions from my man Roberto or me, probably Roberto though, put them in the chat. I'll put them up here, and he will answer them as best he can, or we will answer them as best we can. You got me who makes tech content and been doing YouTube for 3.5 years. You got the creative, entrepreneurial, YouTube educated guru badass up here. I mean, between us, we can answer some questions. So let's do this, baby. Let's do this. Go. What y'all got out here? What y'all got? What y'all got, baby? Also, just a reminder, you can support me and the podcast directly by super chatting on YouTube tonight. Nothing's required, but anything is greatly appreciated. Or you can go either to the pinned comment in the live stream or the link in the description here and go to Owen's GoFundMe page directly and donate to him. I'm just going to say that you guys should probably go to the GoFundMe. But if you do super chat to me, I'm not doing the whole split thing. I did that last night. We're not doing that tonight. So if you super chat to me, going to me. If you want to donate to Owen, I got it pinned up in the pinned comment or the pinned chat here. Or you can go down to the description and grab the link and go to Owen's GoFundMe. Okay, and see. Let's see what we got. Catcher said, "Do you throw your own leather cap?"
No, but I gotta get an Amazon affiliate link for those, and then I'll recommend them because like people are asking about those. But yeah, it's all Amazon. It's like this whole wardrobe is Amazon. I only get fancy for stuff like Vid Summit. If I go into, I like the only reason I own anything from Banana Republic is so that I can go to Vid Summit, and on the rare occasion that I decide to not be single. So.
Yeah. All right. So I want to make sure I caught the question earlier from Dane. He says, over the period of time, what will be a banger and what will be a slow burner? Should we post slow burners or just bangers?
I like. It's hard for me to answer that because I can answer because the question is most of y'all want to be YouTubers. I became a YouTuber. I am a YouTuber, but it wasn't the goal, and it's still not necessarily the goal I have. So, from my perspective, I post videos that I believe produce the most value for my community because my plays are all long-term reputation plays. I don't need viral videos. I don't even need a gold play button. I have the things that a gold play button or virality would normally give you. But that's just my specific situation is what my specific situation is. The network that I have is one that people usually have if they have 1 million subscribers. Viper's network is the network you have if you have 100,000 or 250,000 subscribers. You see, a lot of you're trying to use the social proof of getting to be a big YouTuber or a larger YouTuber as a stepping stone to other things, whereas you could actually just do those other things.
For the record,
you actually don't need
not have those numbers.
Right, but it's like Viper, you have 5,000, but you have a better network than people who have 100,000.
Oh yeah, that much.
Like, you have a better network than some people who have 1 million. You've collabed and interviewed with YouTubers I've never collabed and interviewed with and everything. You just had Austin Evans. Like, I had to follow Austin Evans. Like, legend. Like, there's like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you have the level of connections and clout reserved for people in the upper echelons of YouTube.
Yeah.
I also, in my own way, have that as well.
Yes, you do.
But you would normally need to have like 1 million or a couple of million to have those type of relationships. But you and I are actually good at networking and building genuine relationships. So, Zane, the question becomes, what are you trying to accomplish? Because the thing is, that's what dictates this.
Yep.
And the thing is, a lot of you are you want to be a YouTuber, and yes, it can be a stepping stone or a launch point to something else. But the thing is, so can just doing something else. You'd be surprised what Clubhouse can accomplish. You'd be surprised what a podcast can accomplish. You'd be surprised what just a blog can accomplish. You'd be surprised how many people I know that are successful Instagrammers, bloggers, podcasters, and they're just coming into YouTube, or they write a book and it opens doors for them, and they'd have to start from scratch on YouTube, and in many cases struggle or not be good at it. I know people who are millionaires who can't get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like, they were successful in every other endeavor in their life except for YouTube, like including Instagram and Twitter. So I just feel that if you're capable of bangers, then you probably would only make bangers if you really, really feel that you're capable of bangers. Maybe you only make bangers because maybe what you would care about is views. But on the other hand, if you're building a business and a brand, or if you have a funnel of some kind, bangers attract a casual audience that doesn't commit in the ways that slow burn videos might.
There you go.
I'm trying to build a specific community and culture of people. Viper, it's going to be harder for me than a lot of people to grow bigger than 500,000 subscribers because I'm trying to get people who are serious about the creator economy. I'm trying to get people who, it's fine if a couple of people trickle in and they want to do social media or do things or do a side hustle and not necessarily build a bigger business. But to be real, I'm here to try and get 100,000 people that want to make $1 million. There
you go. So this one would probably be better for you. Got a random question for Science Girl Aquatic. She said, anyone know how to fix a blinking yellow light on a DJI Mobile 2 gimbal?
Do a factory reset.
There you go. Okay. All right. So we got a question for both of us. Where to go? All right, here we go. Question for you both. You've all
Big
been
numbers does not necessarily help in making big cash. I know people with 4 million subscribers.
I'll get it.
I know people have gone broke with over 1 million subscribers. I know people with 1 million subscribers that are borderline poor. You can have all the big numbers you want and not know what to do with it. Yep. And there's plenty of people that have big numbers, but their ad revenue is next to nothing for a lot of different reasons. And there are people with small numbers, people with 10,000 subscribers that are making millions of dollars.
Yep.
But but again, I can say that all I want, but people who aren't in that situation or don't know or don't have the relationships to have the depth of it or haven't heard the success stories, or frankly, I'll tell you a truth, Viper. The sad truth is there are a lot of big YouTubers who flex and they live off of credit cards and they're in massive debt and they have an over-glamorized lifestyle. There are a lot of people flexing. There's a lot of fake flexers. There are fake gurus. There are people who are fake rich. So that's why people think that big numbers matter a lot more than they do. Oh, yeah. Because there are people with a rented lifestyle. I know the numbers.
Rented lifestyle. Wow.
A rented lifestyle. Ooh. I know the numbers.
Shot fired. Ooh. So NY Ranger fan of whoever says, we've all been through a lot these past 17 months. What helps you to continue to inspire, or what helps to continue to inspire you both? Because you're awesome. I can just point to everything that's happening this weekend, bro. Like, yeah. I've been in the creative community for 3.5 years, and the creative community has been nothing short of amazing to me. But what's happening past weekend with Owen, it blows past anything I've been hearing personally in the creative community. It's amazing. So that's part of it, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's tremendous to be a part of this and to see it like happen for somebody who really, truly, deeply deserves it and is the best of us. Owen is the best of us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. All right, so we have a question from Dave Killer-ish. What are you most excited about regarding the future of the creator economy? The opportunities, man. Holy.
You see these bidding wars happening, man? Like you see every platform coming with the bag now. Every platform wants to monetize now. YouTube paved the way, and it's about damn time. Let's go.
See, here's the thing. A lot of creators romanticize YouTube because it used to be the only game in town. But like Roberto said, it is no longer the only game in town. TikTok has creative fun. Instagram is now paying people. Facebook is paying people. Like there are so
YouTube still has the biggest bag.
Though. Twitter is trying to pay people.
YouTube still has the biggest bag.
True, absolutely. But still, Twitter is trying to pay people. So all of these platforms are trying to give creators the opportunity to make money. So the opportunities that are coming in the future for creators are immense, and I'm here for it. Let's go. Go. All right, let's see. What are the questions we got here? It'll have it's like fat rented lifestyle for real. We've seen it. Okay, what is the question, James? Like, how is your Apple stock holding up with this news of Roberto, you got any thoughts on this?
Apple is still going to be in my portfolio. It's still going to be a great stock for me and everything. It's still crushing it. I'm still making a disproportionate amount of money off Apple.
So the question James asked, I should have read the question for the audio people. He says, how's your Apple stock holding up with the news of this child protection with iCloud on the next OS update? And Roberto just said it's not going to affect it.
The thing is, it might affect it, but I'm just telling you, like in general, my shares, because of when I bought, are I'm just looking at one of my small portfolios that I like to play with for like experimental purposes and stuff like that. This isn't even the one in my retirement account because I have almost like I had more, but I shifted some stuff around. But I have over $10,000 worth of Apple stock. My Apple stock since my investment is up. At least, or rather, my Apple stock in a smaller portfolio from the investment that I made in January of 2020 before the virus, I'm up over 119%. Apple will be fine.
Listen, I just did a poll on Twitter asking people, would you rather have promotion or privacy? Which one do you all think won the poll?
Promotion.
Exactly. Oh, this ain't affecting nothing, y'all.
I'm sad, but that actually, in a weird way, makes me sad.
It should. It should. But it's just the reality. People are gonna.
Yeah. But no, my portfolio is
Y'all should see the grin on his face. He's looking at him proposing like, yeah, you people more than
I'm doing
you think, yes, you buy your Apple.
I'm doing fine. I love my stocks.
I love you, man. You're great.
I love it. Hey, I have to look. If it's gonna be that they're gonna do nonsense and it's gonna annoy me and everything like that, at least pay me.
Yep.
Like I'm like, I don't love this, but I'm gonna profit from it because I'm like, look, if I'm gonna get screwed over here, I'm gonna profit over here. It's that simple. I'm not gonna lose on principle. I'm not gonna lose. Like, look, I'm going to bet that I'm going to make the very cynical bet that I've made my peace with, that the rich will get richer and the masters of the universe will probably be the masters of the universe tomorrow, as much as the sun will come up. And I'm investing my money for my retirement accordingly.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. That what's up. Kedra said, with the community tab, will YouTube ever compete in Facebook's arena of social networking? Probably.
It's already happening.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yes, but not in the way people think. The difference between YouTube and Facebook fundamentally is that YouTube has almost the same user numbers as Facebook.
True.
But guess what? Unlike Facebook, they focused and they have more positive brand sentiment than Facebook.
Yes.
They also, from an ad revenue perspective, advertisers spent more with YouTube than any other site or platform. And YouTube is like little by little, year by year, cutting into the market of broadcast. Olympic viewership, which had like the Olympics has probably some of the next highest ad spending after the Super Bowl. And Olympics viewingship was down this year by like 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, YouTube is cutting into the advertiser market aggressively. They're coming slasher style like they're freaking Jason Voorhees up in here, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Now, with that in mind, it's not going to be social media in the way that people like assume. And Facebook is still competitive. Facebook live streaming consumption for like normal people is to the moon, and normal everyday people. There's like this, I think she's Jamaican. There's this woman, I think she's Jamaican. It's like Auntie Dama or something like that. She's a freaking Facebook celebrity. It's a normal, like, grandmother, and she's like just doing stuff and people love it. And she's like a mega celebrity now. There's this comedian, I think her name is Latrice or something. And she's like, she was a normal person before the virus. And in the last year, she's like exploded and is making something like $50,000 a month. Like there's Facebook is actually underrated. People are sleeping on it because they don't like Mark Zuckerberg and they're missing out on money.
Definitely. All right. So next question is the one that you answered yesterday, but somebody wants you to repeat it. So you said yesterday that creators should have 5 emails. So I need you to go over the 5 emails that creators should have, Roberto.
Sure. Absolutely. You should have an email that's strictly your Google account that's tied to your YouTube channel. And if you're monetized, it's also tied to your YouTube AdSense. And that email should never be public. It should never be public, ever, under any circumstances, if you can help it. All right. So that's the email you need for that. You need the email that's tied to your bank accounts and financials, and it should be tied to nothing else. Same thing with that YouTube account, nothing else. And that email is never public. It's a private email. It's never public. Okay. Then you have an email that you use for all of your back-end login systems. So for all of your things like your password manager or your back end of your website or any other systems you have, your login for your computer, like those things, like whatever your email is for those systems, that's never public either. No one should know what it is. Then you need 2 public emails. One of them is an email that you use publicly to do all of your business and for your fans to reach out for you and for people to send you stuff and to do stuff with your brands and whatever. And if you want, that can be a Gmail account. It's just not supposed to be your YouTube one.
Right.
And then you have a personal email so you don't mix business and pleasure, so that people in your life that you need to keep up with or whatever, if you have a family calendar, that kind of thing. So you have 2 public emails. One is your personal, one is your professional, and that's your public emails, and the rest of them are for your systems. An email that's tied to your financial systems, and no one ever knows what it is, an email tied to your YouTube account and your AdSense. No one knows what it is. An email for your systems, and no one ever knows what those are. 3 private emails, 2 public emails, 1 personal, 1 professional. Those are your 5 email accounts.
Boom. Appreciate that insight. Yo, Jonathan, man, appreciate you donating to Owen, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing it out on your social media, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys want to donate to Owen in his fight against cancer, the link to the GoFundMe is pinned in the chat. It should be at the top of the chat. So definitely go check that out. Or you can go to the description of this live stream. The link is down there as well. Definitely go and support Owen. Every dollar counts. So whatever you guys can contribute, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And thank you for doing that. All right. James wants to know your favorite Kanye album of all time, Roberto.
I don't think I had one. And the thing is, like, Kanye fell off for me a long time ago and started getting irritating. Still a tremendous talent, but, you know, it is what it is.
Oh, check this out. We have a longtime friend back in the cut, Christina Red.
Christina, what's up?
How you doing? How you doing? Our friend Christina is expecting an incoming there. So hopefully you and the family are doing well. Also, shout out to Austin Evans, who also just welcomed a little one in the world, too. So shout out to him. Man, we got a lot of parents, a lot of new parents, man. Definitely. All right, actually, let me take a picture of this comment that Kevin just made so I can have this for my record. The email address.
Mm-hmm.
Roberto.
Yeah, no, it's a good tip.
Absolutely. And one that I'm already filling at, so I have to go and rectify that.
Everybody does. Even I started out not doing that correctly.
Here's the killer, though. As far as I know, there is no way to change the email that's linked to your YouTube channel. Roberto, do you know of any way to change that email? Because I don't.
So I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Without reaching out to them, and I think it has to be some weird workaround.
Yeah.
And the main thing is to just not keep promoting that publicly if you've been doing it already, and just change everything else publicly forward facing. The main thing you would do is, if it's in your about section, you change that. And then you know, that's the main thing.
Yeah, there's no
you just do better moving forward. That's all you do, is you just do better moving.
Unfortunately, there's no way to change it with YouTube at all. It's garbage. See, Christina said, "Good, we're doing good, doing well, Mr. Streams. Happy to see you. I'm glad you and James and hopefully the inbound little one are doing well. Appreciate seeing your face. So thank you. Yeah. All right, we're gonna hang out for a couple more minutes here, and then I'm gonna let Roberto have his evening back. Somebody reach out to D-Nim and see what his plans are for the evening. See if he's doing a stream or not. I talked to him earlier on Twitter, but
is he taking over the Owen stream, or
I thought he was. I think he is.
Yeah.
No, I think
I was planning to do a shift. I just did not have the energy, so I went on to Daniel's today for a couple hours.
Okay. If you guys have a question for me or Roberto, please drop it in the chat, and we will answer the best we can. Again, if you want to support me monetarily, the super chat option is open, not required, but anything that you guys are willing to contribute, greatly appreciate it. But I'm gonna just put that to the side tonight and ask you guys to go to the GoFundMe that I have pinned at the top of the chat. Also, there's a link in the description of this live stream to go support Owen directly. And please do that. Every dollar counts. So don't worry about super chatting me tonight. Just go support Owen and his GoFundMe. Whatever you guys can do with that, greatly, greatly appreciate it. D-Nimit is starting the stream in 30 minutes, you all. So in 30 minutes, D-Nimit is live. If he let me, I might crash. I've never been on D-Nimit channel, so I might have to crash tonight. I might have to crash.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I might have to crash your stream, D-Nimit. Just save a link for your boy Viper. Save a link for your boy. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So we're the charity stream will continue in half an hour on D-Nimit's YouTube channel. Definitely go check him out. Any last question for me or Roberto Blake before we end this podcast? Drop them now or forever hold your peace. Man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about some stuff that I'm working on. You may have noticed in the last video, like Storyblocks is a sponsor of the channel now, so that's dope. I thought there's some other really big brand deals in the works that I'm really excited about. There's just there's a lot. The business overall is doing well. We're doing some expansions. I'm working on something. In fact, Aaron, Become a Crime, we might be doing some stuff together coming up because I'm working on a project called Creator Template Store. So I'm making another full-on website entity. We're beyond Awesome Creator Academy. We're going to have a full-on template store inspired by what I did with the YouTube Starter Kit. We're going to make micro kind of versions of this kind of stuff and make other assets, and it's going to be great. So yeah, that's something I'm working on. That I've been doing a lot with the photography. Actually, while people are waiting to get their questions in, I wanted to show you something. I actually found some shots from a more recent shoot of mine. I think you'll like.
They want to hear your theme, Roberto.
Hang on. The only one I have is the podcast theme.
Is that Star Wars?
No. Nick has those. Nick has that theme.
That is a big time gorilla.
Yeah, but like notice how sharp it is, like right there, or like with the eyes. The Sony doesn't play. This was, I think, with the A9 II. Let's see. I think this one was with the A9 II.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was.
Haley, no, we thank you for being supportive of what's happening this weekend and donating. And the one thing I would tell you, Haley, is that there is no perfect time or no perfect moment to start YouTube. Just start it whenever you can. Start now. If you can, start tomorrow. Don't wait. Tomorrow's not promised. You don't know what direction life is going to take you in. And the longer you wait to start YouTube, you're just hurting yourself. You are missing out on one of the best journeys of your life. So I would say start as soon as you can. Don't wait for a perfect time, because there is no perfect time to start YouTube.
And then I made some of my own presets, and they do different things. You'd have to tweak them for this, but you can see that there's some cool stuff that happens there. Presets are nice. So yeah, so I've been doing a lot with the photography stuff. As you can tell, it's something I'm really passionate about. I'm really into it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There's this is an interesting shot.
For those of y'all who are listening on audio only, right now Roberto Blake is messing with his camera presets on the computer.
Yeah, but right now I'm just showing off some of my favorite shots of the gorillas from Zoo Atlanta. We have a really great environment there with Zoo Atlanta, and I've got all kinds of just exotic animals that I get to film on the weekends. And so, yeah, it's just something I'm really passionate about. A lot of people don't realize that I grew up with subscription. My parents bought me a subscription in National Geographic, and it made me just fascinated with this stuff and wanting to do that. I have this rhinoceros hornbill here. This is a really good shot that I'm proud of. Actually, why did I not rate that 5 stars? I'm rating my film.
We are being asked in the chat, are your photos posted anywhere, Roberto?
If you go to createawesomethings.com, it's a Shopify store, and some of my favorites there are not only posted, but you can actually buy them as posters or as canvas prints. And you also can go to my Instagram at Roberto Blake, and you can find some of my stuff there. I'm working on posting more of my stuff to Pinterest, believe it or not, Viper, because the head of Instagram recently announced that they're focusing more on video now, and they want to really kind of be competitive with YouTube and TikTok. And so photographers are really sad because their stuff is not going to be surfaced nearly as much as the algorithm. Video is taking over. So unless photographers show edits of their process, photography is not going to be a thing that really, which is sad because that was tremendous, and it made something different about Instagram. And it also was a place for that type of content, but it also means that Pinterest will rise again. So that's, so that's something, but I think that's kind of a shame, but I get why they're doing it. They're a business. They need to make money. They need to be competitive. I think some of my shots, the pandas were harder to get in focus, but I think I have a couple of interesting shots of the pandas.
They got a tongue out. That's funny.
Yeah. The hard thing was just because of the way they had the panda stuff set up, it was hard to get good, clean shots with the pandas. The tiger stuff is always interesting, but it's also really challenging.
That's very nice. That tiger shot is nice.
Yeah. Oh, this one's really cool. It's not fully in focus, but it was like,
oh yeah, yeah. We're talking tiger, pandas, gorilla. We're talking about it all, Dan. We're doing it all here.
Yeah. So there was, yeah.
All right, another question to you both. I'm about to start uploading. Should I do a batch, i.e. 20? If you're talking about uploading 20 videos at a time, don't do that.
Oh, don't do that.
No, don't
do that. And even if you did and you upload them as private, you don't release them all at once. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, terrible idea. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't go and do that. But yeah, I just wanted to share some of those other shots that I just thought were interesting.
Yeah, man, your photography is A1. Definitely. Kanye West with a question. He said, Roberto, do you think the rule of competition in thumbnails is important? Because I saw a Twitter account named Beating YouTube who gave advice to Eric, and it helped the video go from 800,000 to 2 million.
I think that the that composition with regard to those, especially if you're doing photo story type thumbnails in the type that Eric was doing and things there in the prank style of David Dobrik and Mr. Beast, I think that it actually, matters a lot. And I'm looking forward to actually meeting Eric at Vid Summit. Eric's a great dude. He actually personally went out of his way to reach out to me and asked me to be part of his Creator Now boot camp. And I actually spent 3 hours with people from his community. And so he personally reached out to me and connected with me and texted me to bring me in on that, which I really thought was like really meaningful, because like a creator of his size, that just is very, like, he's mad humble. People don't understand. He's a good dude, and we've talked a couple of times and chatted about different things. And he has a great come up story, and he has a background, believe it or not. He was in like the wedding photography and filmmaking business. A lot of people don't understand. Eric is successful at YouTube because he was successful before YouTube.
Mm-hmm. The same thing with Peter McKinnon as well. Yep.
Exactly. He went about it differently than Peter McKinnon, but he won. He had all this masterful skill to bring to the table, but he also had a business that would make it financially viable for him to take time off, let other people do the business, and he could pursue his YouTube dreams.
No doubt.
That's why he was able to get to almost 2 million subscribers with 85 videos. And his videos didn't have to start out crappy because he already was a wedding photographer and filmmaker. He was not going to make crappy videos. So just like Peter McKinnon did not have to make crappy videos at the start because he already had the skills.
There you go. Yep. All right. We got a question from Toy Fun Fam Games. Should you concentrate on one channel platform until you make the breakthrough? We're all over the place, confused, but have had paid work on TikTok, YouTube, toy channel, unboxing, and gaming channel. Okay.
If you're making money, then that might be more meaningful than breaking out. You might be fantasizing or dreaming about making up, but the reality is, if you don't have an existing successful business, what's making you money is what works. And sometimes you have to do more than one thing. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of concentrating on it to get the big payday or the big momentum. Sometimes you got to nickel and dime and grind, because that's just the reality for folks out here. Not everyone has, a situation that allows for something different than that. It'd be nice to focus on one thing, like people say, and break through. But what if you don't? And the thing is, you're missing opportunity, leaving money on the table. If you have a business that's successful, it's still bringing money like Eric, you can do that. But if you don't, and you're more of somebody who's like freelancing or side hustling or whatever, getting a bunch of little, paydays and bags, that matters. And having a few small platforms that all pay you and are working out from time to time, that's something that might be able to sustain you or make you more secure. It's like, it's important. It's like, you can't not everyone can just focus and break out. It doesn't work that way sometimes. So you got to do what's financially viable.
I actually have real life testimony to this whole question. For 3 years, I focused on nothing but YouTube for the most part. This year, I kind of branched out a little bit. I started doing Clubhouse rooms and things like that. So
and Twitter Spaces.
And Twitter Spaces. But Clubhouse, being on Clubhouse since January has literally changed my life. I got my first brand deal hosting rooms on Clubhouse. I I'm actually in the midst of a potentially life-changing situation because I was on Clubhouse. So, like Roberto said, we all don't have the luxury of trying to just hammer the nail until we break out. If there are opportunities on different platforms for you, then you owe it to yourself to explore those opportunities and see where they take you. And I'm glad I did, and here we are. So, definitely. All right. So, Steve Princess, related to my last question, I am starting to upload my first video. Can I upload a few so people have something to see? Oh, okay.
Mark, you're worrying like too much about like growing, and you're worrying too much about people having something to see. You don't know what'll happen. Like you don't have an audience at the start. You can post like if you have 25 videos shot or in the can or something, and you want to post a couple of them every few days or something like that, and you think it'll mean something, then that's fine. But the reality is, a lot of times with that archive and those first videos, aside from a few people who are breakout YouTubers, it's really more about just experimenting, and it's not really about other people because there's not an audience already. So like, I wouldn't worry about it too much. That's why I tell people just make your first 100 videos and just learn the process, because it's not like no one's really usually good at something that they do for the first time. Like I was telling you with Eric and Peter McKinnon, they were not amateurs at making this stuff anyway, because they worked for companies and businesses and they got paid to do it before YouTube. So it didn't matter to them to play by YouTube rules. If you're a rookie and you've never made videos, I wouldn't worry about it. I would just get through the process of making videos and not care about how people respond to them. When I was an artist, right, and I was drawing, or let's even just use my photography. When I was doing photography and I was starting, it did not matter what other people thought about it. I had to shoot. And there wasn't social media back when I was a beginning photographer. There wasn't social media because I'm like 37. We're talking, I've been shooting since I was 10. Like, and if we want to talk about when I was an adult, well, when I was like, YouTube didn't come out until I was in my 20s anyway. YouTube's like 15, 16 years old. I was already 22, like 21, 22 when YouTube came out, and YouTube wasn't even popular for years yet. Like, social media hadn't caught on. Like I was in my 20s when social media caught on. Okay. There was no posting things and there was no having an audience. You could have a website, but even that, the traffic is going to be minimum unless you're buying ads. So you have to just do work. You have to just do work and not care what other people think about it until it's time to care what other people think about it. And that's after you, like, one, people actually start paying attention. So if people start paying attention, then you worry about it. Yes, you have to get it. But if you're not already coming from a background of marketing or something where you understand how to get attention, this is a learning curve. This is year one. Year one's a throwaway year of just going through the process.
There you go.
I mean, you go to school for 4 years usually to get a career. I don't know why people think they can, like, just because a handful of people did it in social media, that you can get away with not putting a year or two in to learn the ropes. Like, you have to.
Real life, baby. This is real life you talk about. Absolutely.
Back in my day.
Last question of the night is from Zane. He says, if you're passionate about many things, should you start all those channels and see which one worked out, or everything on one channel?
I wouldn't even try to do everything I'm passionate about. That sounds exhausting. There's only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
You usually have to have a day job or a business. Why does everyone, Viper, explain to me why everyone thinks that they have to pursue every passion they have in YouTube or social media or whatever? And why is it you can be passionate about something and not post it, I only just started sharing photography again publicly, and I've been still shooting, and I just started sharing it.
Well, Roberto, it's kind of funny you asked that because it's kind of related. I wasn't even going to touch this, but I'm trying to get us out of here. But Kanye was asking another question about how YouTube is his dream. So that's to answer your question, Roberto. That's why everybody wants to post everything that they're passionate about, because they want to blow up on YouTube.
Why?
Why doesn't anybody want to blow up on YouTube? They probably want to pay money.
For a lot of different reasons. So why? I don't want to blow up on YouTube.
But you're Roberto Blake.
I never did. Here's the thing. I never did. I never wanted to blow up on YouTube. It was not the plan.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, I came to YouTube as an adult already.
Right.
And I had I was full-time freelancing, and I wasn't making money even when I got up to 100,000 subscribers off of the AdSense, because I was still in an MCN contract where they were taking 50% of my money. So YouTube money wasn't even really an option or a thing at 100,000 subscribers until until my contract expired.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, I care about everything that I do, but that's not the same thing as saying, oh, well, then that's my dream. Like, and the thing is, what people are successful at in the real world a lot of times is a number 3 or number 4 passion, because what people who are successful, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, actually brought this up. Did you know Kevin O'Leary is a talented photographer, and it's his number 1 passion is he has a number 1 passion, photography, and his second number 1 passion is music. And he's actually very good at photography and playing the guitar. Did you know that about Mr. Wonderful? Because what you would think he's passionate about is building businesses and making money, because it's what he's good at. He likes making money, he likes building businesses, and he's good at it. But he is passionate about photography and music, and so much so that he doesn't want to compromise on his art by having to take other people's money to do it.
Interesting.
When you take other people's money, you're making compromises. When you take other people's money, you're exchanging value with them. And to some extent, it's on their terms, because they want what they want, and you're supposed to give it to them. And you can enjoy that process or not. It doesn't really matter to them. They just want what they want, which is why most people do a job that they don't love, or they even hate, or they're not passionate about, that they're good enough at. And people pay them money for it because people want the results and they're happy with the results. You're obligated to give people those results, even if you don't enjoy the process. When you turn something that is your number 1 or number 2 passion into something that makes you money, sometimes you come to hate it because you end up having to compromise to get money from people. And so that's where the problem starts to happen. But when you do something that you don't hate, that you know can make you money, and that you still enjoy the challenge of, and that it's interesting and it's not something you despise or that compromises your values, you can make enough money to protect the thing you're passionate about, to say, I don't have to care how people think about it. I like being praised for my photography, but I don't have to care how people feel about it. I can make art without compromises because I can afford to. Eric can make his videos and make it the way he wanted to because he wasn't still also worrying about how to pay his rent.
There you go.
So people need to kind of put some of this into context, and they need to think a little bit more clearly about things. Like, and the thing is, you don't know that Kevin would have been broke playing the guitar or being a photographer. For all you know, Kevin O'Leary, for all you know, would have been a great photographer. For all you know, he would have been the next Nigel Barker. For all you know, he would have been the next Aerosmith. But the thing is, he doesn't have to think about it. And he doesn't have to have the pressure of that and all of the other things that go along with that. You see, that's a thing you have to. And the thing is, you can be in love with something now, but what if you're not in love with it 4 years from now, 5 years from now? Changing your career path, changing the way that you make money is very challenging to do if you find yourself in that situation. And then you can end up stuck doing something you don't like for many years because you can't walk away from the money or the lifestyle that provides at that point. So sometimes that's a problem sometimes.
Yeah, everything that you're passionate about doesn't have to be monetized, for sure. So, we are still raising money for Owen in his fight against cancer. I have just posted the GoFundMe link in the chat. It is highlighted. If you guys can go over there and donate whatever you can, it will be greatly, greatly appreciated. We are trying to raise $150,000. We are currently sitting at $82,611. So we are over halfway there.
Nice.
So whatever you guys think can contribute to the cause would, again, be greatly, greatly appreciated. We thank you for what you guys have been doing all weekend long for this cause. Man, you guys have been amazing. So thank you for that. Shout out to those of y'all who are watching the podcast on YouTube today. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and my man, Roberto Blake. Again, If for whatever reason you're not familiar with him and his content, if you click on the title of the live stream, it is hot link to his YouTube channel. So if you click on his name, it will take you directly to his channel where you can go watch his content on building a business and growing on YouTube. The dude is one of the best in the game. So go check him out. For those of y'all who donated to me tonight, thank you for donations. Definitely appreciate it. As I tell you guys all the time, nothing is required of you, but whatever you can contribute and do contribute, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Shout out to those of y'all who are listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and Roberto Blake. If you want to go check out his content, his channel information will be down in the show notes. Definitely check him out if you're interested in growing on YouTube or building an online business. That is the man you want to go check out. He is the real deal, the creative, entrepreneurial badass himself, the Emperor, Roberto Blake. If you want to support the podcast monetarily, there should be a Buy Me a Coffee link down there as well. Nothing is required of you. What in the world?
Sorry, I was going for a sound. There was a sound effect I was going for. And that was it.
Oh my God. Nothing is required of you guys, but anything that you want to contribute is greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to donate to Owen and his fight against cancer, that GoFundMe link will be in the show notes as well. Whatever you guys can contribute to that, greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review as help the podcast get out to more people, help Apple recommend it, different things like that. So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review. And thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive. For those of y'all listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, you know that your boy Viper is knee deep in beta, which is Viper every day in August, which means I will be live streaming again tomorrow night. That will probably be happening around 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come hang with me tomorrow night, come hang with me as I continue on this live streaming every day in August. Every night or every day or every night, I will be here live streaming as I try to complete 31 live streams in 31 days. I think it'll be more than 31 because of the charity stuff I've done this weekend, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Good on you. You're crushing it.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I am trying. But I almost forgot. In about 10 minutes, D Nimmon is starting the charity stream on his channel. So go hop over to D Nimmon's channel if you guys want to continue with the charity stream for Owen. Definitely legit shout out to D Nimmon for handling the business. If he'll let me crash, I might be over there. If he let me crash, we'll see what happens with that. But if you guys want to continue the party support on Owen video, D Nimmon channel is where you want to go. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.